Welcome to Circle Back to Sunday here at Victory Hill. We are so excited that you're here to join us as we circle back and dive deep into the message from Sunday's sermon. You are going to get to meet some of our pastoral team on an intimate level, as well as other members here at Victory Hill as we circle back to Sunday's sermon. Welcome back to Circle Back to Sunday, Season 2. We're in our final weeks. It's bittersweet, but look, we're still around for 2 seasons. I think we're going to sign on for 3rd.
Oh, they signed us on for 3rd.
Actually, I just basically sealed the deal because I said it. So.
Yeah, that's true. Now it's out there.
We're bona fide.
Now it's out there.
We're for real.
Yep.
But this morning, if you have never joined us before, my name is Emily Pettigo, and I'm joined by the Amy Payne.
Amy Payne.
Hey, for a little while, I'm sitting on this side because I've got Discover after this service, so I may have to dip. If I do,
Because
y'all
the
just
Amy
keep
Payne,
on
she got
We
things
can
to
roll.
do all the time.
The Amy. Yeah, she basically
And
runs
Miss
it.
Bethany Graves.
That's me.
That's her. So, B and I are both out next week.
Yep.
And we're letting Mason host again. So,
Hey, did y'all catch
Love that
that
journey
today?
for
One
him.
of his verses was, what was it, in Colossians or something like that?
it was at the end.
Yep, that said, be kind and compassionate.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how many times I'm going to use that on him? It's going to be great. I'll be like, you said, the Bible says, be kind and compassionate.
Yeah.
Take that back.
Right out your mouth. Right out your mouth.
I can't wait.
She said she was wearing that in her back pocket
I sure
all
am.
week long.
That
It's
is
going to be on
That's
paper,
going to be it.
verbal. It's all the things. He's just
it.
going to have random Post-it notes on his desk.
He
with
shouldn't have
that.
told me that was in there. Kind and compassionate.
He kicked off the 2nd week of our new series that we're in. And it's great because we are heading into the crazy time of year. I don't know why, like, family just gets crazier when you get around the holidays. It's just something. Maybe it's like the chemicals in the turkey or something. I don't know. Maybe just doesn't
It's
make
the
you
fact that
sleepy.
they all have to be together. That's what
Dude, it's like putting feral animals all in one room together.
It's a lot of fun. I like it.
It's fine.
I don't know what y'all are talking about. My
No.
Amy's
family's
like, our
perfect.
family's perfect. Amy may have missed
not
last week's
laughing.
sermon about imperfect
I was
families.
about to
It's
say I'm
fine.
not laughing at her for sure. Laughing with her.
We love her. It's fine. And her family, honestly. We're blessed to serve with a lot of them.
Yes.
But Mason did a great job today. He also looked
so
very
good.
fly today. And you have a bag this morning. You did.
For a white guy.
we
We
do have a lot of stuff just backlogged back here that comes out of our mouth. And this is why.
And Trey Harper said he was proud of me for that. I feel like I have made the
You
team.
have arrived. Yeah,
I
you
have.
have.
You're welcome.
Yeah, he
Thanks
was-
for having my back and making the team
You
all at the
got
same
it.
time. It
You
was a
got
double
it.
dip for you today.
I was very proud of myself.
He was
I should probably go
sporting
home
his
now.
custom.
It was custom.
jacket.
Custom
I love
Letterman
it.
jacket.
And I love that for him. He was rocking it.
I mean,
was.
listen, he went to the same school I did. We didn't have Letterman jackets, so he's really living his best life right now.
it is his
love
dream,
it.
just a few minutes late.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's fine.
It's never too late. Now he's 30. He's grown. He can do that.
I'm careful saying grown. He is 30.
She said that, not me. Be
Yeah,
kind,
I'm
kind and compassionate.
older than him, first of all. So
We all are.
everybody is. But he did. He kicked it off with a new way to deal with it. And like I thought that last week Chad kind of brought like a lot of drop the mic moments, like in your face for believers and non-believers, truly. But Mason, he brought it today.
Oh, lots of T-shirt.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
as
So
Amy
good
is our
that I had
t-shirt
to
queen.
bring a clipboard.
She brought a clipboard. We're
I mean, that's
seriously
official.
official
It
right
is.
now.
Like I'm like, how are we
In
going to
business.
unpack
You should have
all
told
of
me.
this?
I
Like,
could have
it
brought
was so
my
good.
clipboard and we could have been like super official. I do love a good clipboard.
It.
Makes
Same.
me feel super powerful.
Same.
Even
Yeah.
if you don't know what
Gets
you're
my
doing.
life together.
It just makes you feel good. But like he ripped the Band-Aid off when he was talking about, how current events are with the election and all of that. And he said, our faith has never been a man in a house, but a king on a throne.
I know he did.
I thought,
he came out
okay,
punching.
sir.
Literally come out punching on that one.
Coming
It was
out
good.
hot. It's going to be good. It's going to be a good. And because he roasts people, but he really is one of the nicest people.
He
in the whole
absolutely
world.
is,
So I
yeah.
feel like it's hard when God gives him something that's kind of like a punch in the face for everybody else. But he does a good job.
He
He
talks
does.
about that a little bit in the sermon today, though.
Sure
Speaking
does.
truth in love.
He does. He did a good job. We were in Ephesians today, Ephesians 4, 25 through 29. So I'm going to read it just real quick for those of y'all who haven't watched it yet. And that is not that we're complaining or you're in trouble. But you should circle back and watch the sermon. So Ephesians 4, 25 through 29 says, therefore, putting away lying, speak the truth, each one to his neighbor, because we are members of one another. Be angry and do not sin. Do not let the sun go down on your anger, and do not give the devil an opportunity. Let the thief no longer steal. Instead, he is to do honest work with his own hands so that he has something to share with anyone in need. No foul language should come from your mouth, but only what is good for building up someone in need so that it gives grace to those who hear it.
Love it.
And he did do a good job, but that comes from a whole like thing. You need to go back and really and truly read Ephesians 4 because it is about the unity of the body of Christ. But today we were focusing on like family or your family. It doesn't mean just your blood family. You could have a chosen family.
Absolutely.
That, that's fine because we get it. Some people, that's how you develop your family. But his first point was huge. He really, like I said, he just kept kicking it off with these bombs. And he said, truth unifies where deceit divides.
Yep.
And if we're not honest with each other, we're not going to deal with the crap in our house. Which I do love that he shared the story.
Yes.
The bathroom story of his
lad.
children.
I mean, he's just funny.
Did y'all not already know the culprit when he started telling the story?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you already knew.
Yeah. That's Lad Harris all day, every day.
Yeah.
He's so funny.
For just a recap, we're going to circle back. Just cliff notes because we ain't going to dive deep into it. Mason is a father to 3 adorable children. And he has a beautiful wife, but he's got one that's a little, you never know what Lad's going to bring to the table.
Yeah.
He's his feral child.
He's fun. He's so fun. That kid is the most fun.
But they had a bathroom incident that kept repeating itself where someone may or may not have been flushing the toilet. And Mason had to have a family meeting.
In the bathroom.
Come to Jesus.
In the bathroom.
We'll come to Jesus.
Yeah.
Also with Shep, who is still in diapers. I love that he was included.
I love that Sheppy went.
Not me.
Shook his head, not me. Cracks me up.
Don't be putting me in that.
He's like, listen, we still training. Ain't me. I do love that. But he used that to tell the story about when we're not going to deal with our own crap. Like it's just going to keep going, and it can even bleed into the next generation. Like it's going to be passed down.
Yeah.
So he used a really funny story to make a very valid point.
Yeah. If you don't deal with your crap, you pass it on. Your kids will have to deal with it.
Yes. And where we can get unified under the fact that we're not perfect. We all have sinned, right? Because that's the truth. The truth is none of us are perfect.
Yep.
And if we can be honest in that, it doesn't give room for the deceit that the enemy is trying to bring into our lives.
Yeah.
But if we bring deceit in, then all that's doing is opening a door.
I wrote down too one of the things he said. It says unity will move at the speed of truth in your home.
Yeah.
Oh, I wrote that
was
down
so
too.
good.
Yes.
So good. I mean, because it really is true. Like, I mean, if you have a lot happening or whatever, or discord or lying or anger or anything like that, like, you're not very unified. And you're going to get there by yourself, but it's going to take a long road. But, I just love the speed. That word, the speed of the truth.
That was I'm telling you, I wrote down, like, so many things. My note page is, like, just
same.
overflowing. I also wrote down this because we'll circle back to why, but our emotions are tainted by sin.
Yeah,
I wrote that down. I even put it on a post-it note and then put it in my Bible. Not to show off or anything. I'm just saying because I need it.
It's okay, Emily. It's okay.
I need it. But Ephesians does say that speaking the truth to our neighbors, which we were talking in the context of family, he said that your family wants the real you. We don't need the you that pretends that you've never messed up.
Yeah.
Or that you're always happy. You never have these raw emotions. You can't be like that. Like, you have to show the real you, and it benefits your kids.
Yeah.
It truly does. You don't want to set your kids up to think that you have to pretend everything's happy-go-lucky all the time.
Absolutely.
How does that help them develop a relationship with Christ?
Yep.
Right.
There's going to be hard times. There's things that's going to really suck.
Yep.
And also, you're going to mess up.
Yeah.
You're going to mess up. Like, my kids know all about my past. They do. Now, did they know it when they were at an age they couldn't understand it? Absolutely not. But they're teenagers. Like, it's a great time to sit down and say, hey, this is the things I've lived through. This is the things I've screwed up on majorly. How about we don't do that? I just want to give you a little, it's kind of like a cheat card to growing up. Don't do what I did. Just find Christ. Just be confident in that. Yep. But he did say that speaking the truth in love, which you all just brought up, is you got to do that the right way.
Yep.
You got to do that the right way. And that also goes back to circling back to when we're talking about the context of family, we're talking about the family you do life with, right? The ones that you've chosen to be in your circle, which goes back to who's in your circle that has speaking privileges.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. I had wrote that down, that speaking truth in your house, your neighbor unifies. And you said in love, it reminds me, someone told me once that if we don't tell truth in love, then it's just being mean.
Oh, it's true.
Yeah.
And I think one takeaway for me in this verse especially is I think the word neighbor or your home speaks to those people that have speaking permission over your life.
Yeah.
That know you, that know when you're acting out of character or will receive that from you.
Yeah.
I know personally, y'all have heard me say it, like that's one of the perks of a recovery community.
Yeah.
Is because you find a group of people, you grow with them, you heal with them, and you give them speaking permission.
Yep.
So when things aren't right, you can quickly make amends. They can speak into your life, and you will receive that in love.
Yeah.
Well, because I think we probably all had those people that tell us something and it's the truth, but it makes us upset. You know what I mean?
I'm that
like,
one. Yeah. If I don't know you,
I don't like that.
if you don't have a seat at my table, it's hard.
Yeah.
Just
and sometimes
honest.
it makes me angry. Like, honestly, like sometimes it will just make me so irritated.
True.
Yes. I'm like, that wasn't your spot to say it, you know? But that's what the last part of that verse 15, when it says, helps us grow more and more to be, what does it say? More like Christ.
Right. Yes. But on the flip side of what you are saying, because what you're saying is absolutely true. And that would make me defensive if it's somebody that's like, woo, we're not like that. But when it is the people in that small circle, if it is someone you trust, if it is someone that you know at the heart of the situation loves you and it triggers you, that right there should be an indicator, okay, I got Jesus juked right now.
Yeah,
we're going to need to check myself, because it's not supposed to feel good.
No.
When someone who truly loves you is saying in the right way, hey, this is not good.
I have people in my past that have spoken to it, and it was never necessarily a bad thing, what they were speaking to me. They meant it for growth. But because of the way that I had felt when they said those things in earlier situations, I felt like it was an attack, type of thing. So automatically my guard's up. And then the next person that comes along, I can take that from them. And it's the same words. It's the same idea. It's the same problem but this side is constructive. This side is destructive.
It's very much
and
about
there's a difference.
The way you do it. And which was a thing that came up on our online comments, which today, comments were, the sermon was so fire that the comments were on fire today. And it made me realize that, like, how we do it is important, but, like, what did one of them say? He said it a certain way and it made me think of something, and I just lost it. Oh, my gosh. It's been a long day.
It'll come back to you.
It will come back. But it is important how you do it, because you can love somebody and still say it wrong. Yeah. And you can love somebody but still not be in that relationship to have the space to speak to
and
them.
the intention behind it.
Yeah. So that's important. And I know it seems like we say it every podcast, but it is about who has the speaking privileges.
I agree.
But you have to be open mind and open heart that maybe God's sending that message to you through somebody else. Right. So that's a huge thing. But it is every way to him who is the head, Christ. Because that's who we truly should be living for. Yeah. It's not about, and like that's a mindset shift I've had in the past few years, is that I was allowing me worried about what this other person or people thought being more important than making sure I was looking to him.
Well, you just look at those conversations and said, did it move the needle towards Christ? I mean, that's what you've got to say.
Yeah.
And if it didn't, then just let it go.
Yeah, but we're
Water
all,
off a duck's back.
I'm saying that as a follower, as someone who I serve, I'm here at church. I'm guilty of it as well.
Oh, sure.
Which is why I wrote down our emotions are tainted by sin, because I can let things get in my head or allow the space for the enemy to bring something up, like Mason said from 10 years ago. Yeah. And suddenly, like, I'm on the defense.
Well, that was what his point was for number 2. Yeah. Don't let anger give the enemy room in your home. And that was so good to me, because when I wrote down was, it gives enemy room to move and it gives him room to operate. Yep. Like, not just like come through like a whirlwind and go through, but to sit and to operate. Like, I'm not all right with that. And I can't say that, like, there's a lot of times that I let anger stew in me. I'm pretty much an eternal optimist, but the same time, I do have those moments, and I can think of a few people that recurringly, when you say their name, it just kind of gives you the ick, like you're like, well,
like your piece is a little disturbed.
I don't like that. And those are the people that I think I let have room. And I don't know if it's anger, but it's the same negative emotion. Yeah. And I I let Satan have room, and therefore he has room to operate. Like, he has room to set up camp and
He's
make
like a
his
squatter.
Yeah.
He's like an emotional
Legit.
squatter.
I love that.
Emotional squatter. Write that down.
He's taking up free rent. Like, rent free in your head.
I had something else good this week. Look at me,
Write
2
that
weeks in
down.
a row with a dinger.
Emotional squatter.
Emotional squatter.
I can't.
I've had
it.
people squatted in the house next door to me twice. I know what that's like.
I can't with that. I'd be scared to death. Not doing it quickly gives the devil room to separate.
Yes.
So whether it is that conversation he said to have, or it's you're fighting with your spouse or your kids. I know that even when he was talking about apologizing to your kids, no offense to my parents, because they were absolutely wonderful parents. I had a great childhood. Yeah. There was nothing that I can say, negative as far as that goes. But there was never an apology. Like, my parents' way of apologizing was we just moved past it, and then life was hunky-dory again. Okay. And it was fine, and that's the way I operated until I met Gabe. And then Gabe's like, no, we talk it out. We say sorry, and then we're done.
Right.
And so as a parent now, I mean, I have 4 kids, almost 14, 11, 10, and 5. And so they're all old enough to know, when things aren't right, when mom's on edge or whatever. And I can vividly remember 2 Christmases ago, it was like a few days before Christmas, my dryer had broke, my sink had clogged, I could not get it unclogged, and then Patrick had dropped his phone and completely broken it in half. Okay, so all of this happened in the same day. And my level of emotion was like 1,000. Yeah. Well, then also I'm a mom, so I was overstimulated for the day. And then everybody was like, when are we doing this? When are we doing this? And I can vividly remember screaming, not yelling, screaming, slamming my door and go into my closet, and I just broke down and cried. And I was like, I'm just overwhelmed. Like, it wasn't that there was anything wrong or that my kids did anything wrong, but I was overwhelmed. And I can remember walking back in there with tears in my eyes, and they were like, because I don't raise my voice, like, ever, unless I'm laughing. Like, there's never a thing like that. And so it was not a normal situation in our house. And they were all sitting there like, I'm so sorry, Mama. And I was like, no, I'm sorry. Like, I let my emotions and the entire world get ahead of me, and you guys did nothing wrong. And, like, I told Gabe that night, I was like, I think that was the biggest parenting thing of my entire parenting career. Like, because it was a heartfelt moment where I knew I had to apologize to people that I gave birth to, that I don't necessarily think that they would have taken me. I'm your mom. Like, you have to love.
Well, they would have loved you regardless. Yeah.
And, we're already bonded, but
we're already bonded.
You kind of came out of my body. It's fine. It's whatever. But it was one of those moments where I was like, I have to apologize, because I had to do it right then, right after.
Well, yeah, because it would have sat there and simmered.
Well, I think they would have thought about it for years to come. And now it's never even brought up. Like, they don't think about that.
Your children are just gentle
But
souls.
it was an apology. And so when he was talking about apologizing to your kids, I'm here for that. I'm so here for that. I think it is the most healthy thing that you can do. And it just be a bad day. Like, but I'm be like, hey, y'all, I'm sorry. Today sucked. And it's not your fault.
And the thing is like, I've said this before, I've never been the mom of a 15-year-old.
Yeah.
I've never, I'm new to grandparenthood. Yeah. I don't know what I'm doing. Granny. I don't know what, like, so that's what I try to tell the boys, especially my 2, that, yes, I'm sorry I lost my cool. We do the same thing. We'll go back. We have the conversations. We have the hard talks, because I want them to know that I'm human. Mm-hmm. I don't know what I'm doing. This is my first rodeo. Like, we only get one life, one shot, and we're all learning everything every day together. Yeah. But the fact of I don't stand by respect has to be given to me, because I should also respect them, that they're going to grow up and be human beings. Mm-hmm. And when I grow them up, like Mason said something that was just so, it was very eloquent today. He said that he is raising arrows that are going to be shot from the mighty God out into the world.
Was that cool? Like, props to my boy, because that was really cool. Like, when he was saying that about his kids, when he was saying about his wife, and he was saying about him, that came off his tongue so easy, because it's
he meant it.
He lives it, but he says it every day. Yep. You can tell that is part of his prayer that he says every day, and therefore it is like, I mean, it's what he's talking about. What's in your heart, what's in your mind is what comes out of your mouth. But, and you could tell that was what, like, he prays those things earnestly every day, so it was easy.
And some people may not realize that about Mason, but, like, you could tell for the ones of us who are around him more, there was more emotion out of those words behind them, because it was real. But, like, that's the thing is, like, like, my parents were great too. My parents were super great. But my mom was a people pleaser, and it was everybody has to be happy. Even if that means you sacrifice yourself to the point that you are literally about to lose your mind. And my mom and I have grown to where even as adults, we both are learning to kind of change those behaviors, because just because my mom did it that way
Yep.
doesn't mean that she still has to do it so that as we all grow together, every relationship is still growing. But I want my boys to be set up with healthy steps as they go into life. I want them to be able to lean on Christ. You know, there's not always people who speak that into their life. And I want them to know that faith is what we live on.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be tangible. We live on faith because we know it in our heart. And they're going to face challenges. They're going to mess up. Like I've told myself, I was like, you're 15. All right, buddy. Next year, it's a big 1-6. We're going to be 16. Am I okay with you being a sophomore next year and getting your license because you're one of the older kids in the class? No, not really. But you're going to do stupid stuff.
This is where I'm also real glad that y'all have already done this.
Yeah. Don't listen. Don't call me for
Amy, what happened?
If I ever write a book, it's going to be My Kids Maybe Turned Out Okay is the title.
Well, number 3, he said, was the language of your house will either strengthen it or cause it to decay.
Yes.
That was so good.
One of my favorite points.
Good. Yep.
Favorite point.
I agree.
So, you know, he was talking about don't use foul language, and he really broke it down that foul language doesn't just mean those dirty words. It means, you know, like slander and gossip and just anything negative.
Breaking down, someone else.
And so y'all know me, like, you can tell me not to do something, so I instantly flip the script. Well, let me, I got to figure out if that's not how do I do it? Instead of this, do this. And just how he broke that down, I wrote down, instead of foul language, grace, speak grace, speak mercy, be an encouragement, choose gratitude, compliment each other often, use kindness, affirmations. And then he said this, and I wrote it down, speak life into situations.
Yes.
Speak life into. We are going to have a great day today. We are going to get through this. We are going to spend the rest of our lives together. You know, we are going to live our best lives. And just speaking that instead of, you know, I'm so upset with you right now. You know,
because
like
gratitude and negativity can't live together.
Absolutely, can't occupy the same space. I love it.
We're not going to let negativity come squat.
Emotional squatter.
Nope.
Just being very intentional with that language. And I'm like, well, if you're intentional with it, that means it's a choice.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
Because it is a choice. Everything we do is a choice. We have free will.
Yeah.
And it is all about making the right ones. And that's why I love that our pastoral team works so hard to guide us. And it's not just us as believers. It is the body of Christ as a whole. They're not out here just to speak to us because we're the ones that show up every Sunday.
Yeah.
You know, we truly are wanting to bring more people to Christ to find and follow, but it's huge. It is about the tone.
I wrote down too, one of the things he said was the way you speak in your house will build the spiritual structure of your house. And I was like, that's so good too, because it is like living out faith, like out loud, it's for everyone to see. My kids see me in the Word. They hear us pray together. I challenge each one of them to pray during our times of devotion or whatever, things of that nature. Like, is it where we're being snippy with each other and I'll say, it's not what you said, it's how you said it. Let's speak with kindness, you know, those types of things. But yeah, I think that your level of spirituality, your level of a closeness to Jesus is directly related to how you speak to the people around you.
And you don't necessarily have to be doing it exactly like Bethany and them are doing it.
No,
it is
absolutely
about
not.
It's about how you know your family, right? But it's about your willingness to. You got to look at yourself too in this, because I'm a huge person that I want to be self-aware, and so when I ask somebody, "Did I hurt your feelings?" It is not because I do feel bad, but like if I truly did something, I want to change the behavior.
Yeah.
I don't want you to soul up and not tell me. Like I want to have that open conversation, because it's not just about the hurt. It's about how can I make sure that I'm choosing to not do this. And when you said that, like the words of affirmation and all that, it makes me think there's some days that just literally people think that girls are dramatic. No. Boys can be too. And both of mine will get in their car and, like, you know, we spoke about we live in a blended situation. And sometimes when they come between two households, emotions are different. And we'll get in and they'll just start negative. And I'm like, how does anybody want to tell me a blessing from today? How about a blessing from today?
Yeah, I have that conversation with mine too.
It's been some days that, like, Lane, my 15-year-old, he's just blunt. He's like, I'm alive.
Good enough, bro.
Like,
good
boom.
enough.
Yes, moving on.
Good
Next
enough.
thing.
I said Colossians earlier. That was Ephesians. Ephesians 4:32. Be kind and compassionate.
Hey, somebody might need to be in
I'm gonna learn
Colossians
that
today.
one. I mean, maybe y'all look that up. I don't know what it says.
Girl, there is a Colossians. He
4:6. Yeah, I did, but that was the wrong one. That
and I
wasn't what
loved it.
was in.
speaking of that, he said, Colossians 4:6, let your speech always be gracious, seasoned with salt, so that you may know how you should answer each person. And he said, salt is like wisdom. That's what that means right there.
Yeah, I like it.
So he doesn't mean be salty.
Yeah, I wrote that down. Salt equals wisdom.
I did too. The exact thing.
Right above truth tellers talk about it.
Truth tellers talk about it.
Truth tellers talk about it.
Bring on a
t-shirt,
Oh,
y'all.
man.
Mm-hmm. Truth tellers talk about it.
I like that. Ooh, I like that a lot.
Oh, wow.
Something he said today that I absolutely loved his example was like how vengeance is not ours anyway.
Yeah.
It's God's.
Yep.
And how like when vengeance in our hands is like taking an axe and just cutting it up.
Yeah.
A rusty axe, he said.
Yeah. And God is like, he uses a scalpel.
A surgeon.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Precise and very.
And I'm like, he's good at that.
Yeah.
Like, why? Like,
So
I
that
just
made me
loved
think,
it.
you know
I
how
did
some
too.
people are like, well, I'm going to play the long game, so that they think they're getting somebody. Like, you don't even need to play the long game.
yeah, it's
Take it
not
off your
ours.
plate
Like,
because
it is
the
not
Lord is going to be
ours.
playing the
because
game.
If we cut it like we want to cut it, we're going to cut off something that God meant to grow.
Right.
Yeah.
Instead of let's shave these pieces off and let this one thing that I've
Right.
got planted grow. I loved it too.
Yeah.
I wrote
That was
down.
such an amazing point that he made because people don't think like that.
Yep.
And the way society is anymore, like the culture right now is like, I don't know about y'all's online and for you pages and all the things, but it's a lot of division.
Oh yeah.
It's a lot of,
I have to turn it off.
there's some major emotional squatting going on
I
right
have
now.
to turn it off.
'Cause I
They will emotionally squat
I looked at
here.
my phone the other day and I was like, I just want the cat videos back.
NSA, please listen.
Can someone just bring that? Listen, I know I got an FBI person on my phone. Can
Yeah, I
somebody
just want cat videos.
That's
maybe some
hilarious.
possums
I
and
like to watch
raccoons.
people
Just throw
fall.
those in there. But
Today's was just so good.
it was so
was.
good.
The whole series is going to be
Yeah.
fire.
It is so good. But I do think that if there's anything that I want our viewers and our listeners to take is that unity will move at the speed of truth in your home. And and Mason said that they developed the family before anything else.
Yeah.
So if your family's not united, that's the first place you need to start.
Well, that can go with anything too, because Gabe and I do that with our kids. Like we go on vacation together every year, once a year, just him and I, and the kids stay with either parents, whatever, grandparents,
Sometimes
godparents,
strangers,
whatever.
we don't know.
It's fine. They're taken care
I
of.
just got an invitation. Gospel invitation is now. Get over here.
Oh.
I gotta go.
Okay,
I love
bye.
y'all. Yeah.
Love you.
Put away the lies, y'all. Put away the lies.
But so we go, but we talk about that too. Like, hey, we're not going because we don't want to be with you. We're going because we have
Right.
to. Like, we have to
Have
make
to
sure
spend
that
time
this
together.
is together first before the rest of it. And that's exactly what he was talking about when he was like, your home should be safe. It should be comfortable. It should be peaceful. It should be strengthening your relationship with Jesus before all of the outside world gets in there. Because then that's always anytime the outside gets in it, that's when it becomes messy.
And you can not be meaning to let, like I told you earlier, I was like, I'm purposely going to spend time with Scott this afternoon because life has been crazy. Like work's been crazy. We have the precious little baby, grandbaby, and then 2 teenagers. And it's just like, we got a lot of stuff all the time.
Yeah.
And even my friend Joanne, she was like, we all talk about we have busy seasons, but she's like, Emily, I don't think your busy season ever ends.
That's true.
And I was like, it doesn't feel like
needs
it.
to.
So I have to be more intentional about making sure that we're spending not just time in the same space together, but actual quality time together. And
it gives a reason for Barb to come out.
And listen, Barb.
There's that.
we love Barb.
Today was just so good. Mason did so good.
did.
I love when they always preach something that they do.
I hate that Amy's not going to be in the room for this, but
Oh, no.
when he wrote down righteous anger, and he was talking about when Jesus flipped the table.
Yeah.
So Joanne, one of my very, very, very best friends, she sent this message to Jessica and I, and it was like another context of Jesus flipping the table over, but it was Jesus flipping over the table. It was like Jesus
Like he
doing
went
a
over top of it?
backflip.
That's good.
And I was like, oh, that never crossed.
Thought of it
But
like
how funny would that have been if he did a backflip? I mean, he was Jesus.
He could have.
He could have.
We don't know.
So
We weren't
just,
there.
just wanted everybody else to share in
Flipped
that.
the table with his feet as he went. I don't know.
Right.
Could have.
Maybe he stood on it
Could've
and flipped
happened.
off of it. And
Why? We weren't there.
we weren't there. We don't know. But in my head, I would have loved to have seen that.
Hey,
I mean,
You can do
especially in a
whatever you
robe
want
and
to in
sandals.
that's some talent.
That is some talent. And that's
I can't get over that. She's blowing my mind. Truth tellers talk about it. What's she
Truth
say?
tellers talk about it. That is There's some alliteration in there, which will help you remember.
So
Truth, Taylor's talk about it. She made a great point. So we're just going to make sure Amy makes us some new T-shirts around her.
Like black with just those letters, like right here in white.
Ooh, okay. Amy, circle back and listen to this, girl, after you left.
This. Yeah. I'm here
Bethy's got this. She's got your back.
Fired up.
But it's only going to get better.
Yeah.
We literally have 2 more weeks of this sermon series before we jump into the Christmas series. So lean into it. That's our challenge. Lean into it. And be willing to be open-minded. Right? And for growth. Pray for growth. Don't pray for patience because the Lord's going to send you all kinds of opportunities.
Growth in your home and yourself and your family and your work, whatever it might be.
But we definitely want you to strengthen those relationships, not just for the holidays, right? We want this to be like long-term. I know I'm taking things away from it. I know you've said you have. We know Amy and Larry have. And listen, I want my husband to speak to me like Mason just did on stage, which he does. Don't get me wrong. Scott Petty is one of the sweetest people. And when he says darling, it just melts my heart. Melts my heart. But that's the things that you need to do for both people.
I agree.
And I think Mason and Lauren have it down. Their children are beautiful and amazing. And I love that he shared that story today with everyone.
He's crazy.
If you want to hear the actual story that he had the family meeting,
go back and listen.
Please go back and listen to the sermon. Circle back to it. But we have 2 more podcasts.
2
season. And you and I, Mason, will be back for the last one.
Yep.
But next week, Mason's hosting.
Oh, Lord.
We're going to let Mason host.
We'll have to listen.
Girl, you know we're going to tune in. We're going to have to.
He might get us back. But he's going to be kind and compassionate.
He is going to be kind and compassionate because that's what he preached about.
That's what the Bible says.
Yep. Speak with salt, as in wisdom, Mason. Yeah. But we will see you guys back next time, and we appreciate it. So circle on back, check out the sermon, or your podcast you missed. But we'll see you next time.
See ya.
Bye.